Since the involuntary mental state inducement forced objections have stopped, see, at a moment's notice, someone could make shit up and I could be abducted and drugged and labelled. Though, before I was involuntarily arrested in Maryborough, taken straight to Maryborough, as I was talking about Thomas S. Monson and Mr. Stiller Harry, MHS, Mr. Harry Stiller, Maryborough Health Service. When I was first weighed there, I was about 80-something kilos. And ever since the forced injections, I've put on over 50 kilos of weight. Though since the forced injections have stopped, after the involuntary arrest in Toowoomba for mental state inducement, so far I've lost, on the 20th of November, Wednesday, I've lost 11 kilos so far. So it's reduced the metabolic syndrome effect. The dopamine blockers, so because I possess dopamine, I don't have the metabolic syndrome, but it affects some people in different ways. I've lost 11 kilos so far, and I've been doing the same, eating the same, and I've lost 11 kilos. Though I noticed, since the forced injections have ceased for a period of time until someone makes shit up, see, it affects people in different ways. See, it's got 2 ions of acid in it, and there is a clinical trial death rate statistic. So definition 6 can abduct and drug whoever they want. Though I've said it over this in a previous recording, I was actually talking about Thomas S. Monson and the Utah Mormon cult. I've said this in a previous broadcast, and how Thomas S. Monson was a Vietnam veteran, so he obviously worked for the CIA. And I was just talking about Thomas S. Monson, that my brother, Mr. Stiller, ended up having Thomas S. Monson on Facebook, and I've said that. Though, prior to the arrest in Maryborough, see, what's Maryborough Health Services, Mr. Harry Stiller. And I was talking about Thomas S. Monson, treat Stiller's mind. In measured autonomy exists. They'll be of the opinion that 250 measured MAR 250 plus doesn't exist. They'll be of the opinion, well, does Microsoft have Mahjong? Similar to that. It's just the specifications that the measured apparatus is applied to. You can see the neuroscience page. Yeah, the dopamine blockers, they call them antipsychotics, but context, Mr. Harry Stiller, Maryborough Health Service. I have sent letters to Definition 6 asking for compensation, but I've never received a reply. I haven't had a day in court to prosecute the government for over 12 years since I was arrested in Maryborough and taken to Maryborough Health Service. And before even seeing a psychologist, I was just forcefully injected and thrown into seclusion. So I haven't found any benefit from being abducted and drugged by the government. I haven't found any health benefits from it. I haven't had any health benefits from being abducted and drugged by the government. How people are claiming people will flog the product of the faculties and their shape-thinking ideology. Though dopamine blockers affect people differently, and there is a statistical death rate. There is a death rate. So the Fed is funding a genocide, and the Definition 6 is facilitating it. There's over 35,000 murders by Definition 6 funded by the Fed each year, which could be aggregated to the clinical trial death rate statistic of the actual clinical trials of the pharmaceutical industries that make shit up, that want their products injected into forcefully abducted and drugged people, forcefully abducted and labelled people in faculty health circle ideologies. Sigmund, still a Mr. Stiller, Sigmund Freud, still a Mr. Though dopamine blockers affect people in certain ways, though I find with dopamine blockers, it reduces my ability to actually exercise. It reduces my ability to. I might still do the same amount of exercise, though it increases my when they stop their forced injections, it increases my I start losing weight to go back down to my healthy BMI. It increases my ability to exercise, but they'll still go on in their faculty-shaped thinking ideology. So when you block dopamine, that's also on the LFDRA mental health reform page about what happens, what the side effects are when you block dopamine. So I'm not going over this anymore because I've already been over it on previous broadcasts in @Harry Stiller LFDRA. I don't know when this one's going on YouTube. I don't know if I'll put subtitles. I might put subtitles. If there's subtitles on it, I'll put the Australian English subtitles. But I've noticed with the Australian English subtitles, when I say like LFDRA.org, it won't spell it correctly in the subtitles. If I say LFDRA, it won't pronounce it correctly in the subtitles. So we'll see how it goes. But I've lost 11 kilos. I've lost 11 kilos since they've stopped the forced injections. But see, the Fed and Definition 6 of King Charles III Commonwealth of Australia realm, they'll claim that measured autonomy doesn't exist. They'll still go with their faculty-shaped thinking ideologies. See, Mark Butler has shaped thinking faculty ideologies. I bet you Mark Butler's never had to consume on the consumer end. What would happen if we just made shit up about Mark Butler, arrested Mark Butler, just made shit up about Mark Butler, arrested him, drugged him, forcefully injected him before even seeing a psychiatrist, locked him into seclusion, just made shit up about him, labelled him, and then forcefully injected him for over 12 years without a day in court. How do you think he'd be then, you terrorist regime cunts? You vote that way, you terrorist regime cunts. That's who fucking Labor and Liberal are. You see, what's context Mark Butler? Medical board, Mark Butler. Mark, MK, medical killers. Mr. Killer, medical killers. Medical killer. Mark, MK. Butler, BR. I don't know. Mark Butler, medical killers. Measured. I don't know. Mark Butler, medical board, minister's board, Minister something, Mr. Mark Butler, Mr. Butler, medical boards. Mr. Harry Stiller, Maryborough Health Service. That happened in 2013 in April. I was talking to my sister Kim about Thomas S. Monson. And what's Thomas S. Monson? TSM. Treat Stiller's mind. So in some aspect of the measured apparatus, Mr. Harry Stiller was taken to Maryborough Health Services on shit that my sister Kim made up. She made up all this shit, and Thomas S. Monson was a Vietnam veteran and did work for the CIA and was the head of the Mormon Utah cult. the Mormon cult, measurement crimes and measurement theft crimes exist as well. There are measurement crimes and there are measurement theft crimes, and I've said this before. So yeah, that's it for this edition of @Harry still at LFDRA.